Okay, question of the week from Michael. John? Okay.
Top sport question of the week.
Top sport question of the week, indeed. And of course, Michael will win $100 into his Top Sport account.
200.
Why is it 200?
I think you wrote 200. Hang on, I'll check this. Michael's got more money than the Pope anyway, but... Question for today's review show need to be in 10 minutes for your chance to win 200 jackpot this week. Credit to your Top Sport account. I think you might be up for the 100 here. I hope you are.
You'll get $200. That's what we said. Okay. Michael, you've written here, PD mentioned a few weeks ago on the show the ideal scenario of markets opening 20 minutes or so before jump. I agree, for the way I do things, that this would be ideal. Just want to tackle this from a practical point of view. What impact on turnover do you think it would have, up or down? Maybe tackle individually in your own betting, and then maybe market as a whole. Look, I'm stuck in the old days. I figure that markets were much more vibrant, more competitive, more interesting. The anticipation was what sold racing as a pursuit and a sport, and the ability to bet early. I can remember really. I'm just trying to think back. If you weren't dealing with Vanuatu bookies, or any of the other SPs, and you were dealing with say Darwin All Sports, you could get on to win a decent bet. You'd ring up and get a quote on race morning, and you could back it early if you wanted to, but most of the action was late. And when I say late, 20, 25 minutes before, the previous race has been run, the prices go up, everyone's waiting to stand there and assess, and it was very competitive, and the percentages were incredibly competitive. I think that turnover would go up if that happened. I think if they got rid of early betting, so, from the Wednesday onwards, it would be better, because the mistakes that they're making early, if they were forced to make those mistakes, because let's face it, the corporate, marketplace is where the majority of the perceived marketplace is. If they were to make those mistakes 20 minutes out and had to bet you to lose a lot more, like what the rails bookmakers are obligated to bet you, say, and I'm saying it should be scaled based on how big you are. So a tab or a sports bet should maybe be forced to lose 10 or 15 on a Metro Saturday. John Walter, who fields on a couple of meetings a week, maybe it's to win 5. So there should be a scale there to counter that. I think that turnover would go up. I think interest in the sport would be better. And many of my friends, and one in particular who makes a great deal of his profit margin from sniping these early prices, it'd be better for me. So self-interest, gonna back that one. The market as a whole, I think, would improve. I think no doubt that it would improve. It's not going to happen, but this is just a hypothetical.
This is the thing with racing in so many respects. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and that's true. Like it's so sad that it's true that nearly every person who's been in racing forever, and like you've got your snipers and people who take advantage of little gaps who wouldn't want it for sure, but most people, like you look at the Betfair markets, there's no vibrancy there till 10 minutes before the race, not even, and then there's huge swings. So you put that out and multiply that across the whole bookmaking landscape 10 or 20 minutes out, or maybe probably 20 minutes, 30 to 20 is probably like realistic. What would happen? It would be madness. It'd be chaos. It'd be unbelievable. The swings would be incredible. The turnover would be insane. Not everyone comes up with the same horses, and most of these people aren't playing in the markets early anyway. It's just a couple of snipers and some recreational money. I'd love them to put a figure on it.
There's an opportunity for racing officials to reinvigorate the tote. They choose not to take it. They could adopt many different methods and trial them. One of them proposed by Rob Waterhouse some time ago was that there's 2 tote pools. There's the off-course tote pool, which is, take out of 15 or 20. There's the on-course, which is a take out of 0 or a low percentage. that would stimulate and bring
That's it.
that would bring back the big punters on course. I'd be there in a heartbeat again, and have people working at other tracks as well. The tote would reinvigorate. The big players would come back because they understand the incentive of a discount or a heavy discount to those markets. And the race clubs, I don't think the tab would be worse off if they structured the model correctly. So that's one option.
Sorry, yep.
Yeah, that's one option. Another option would be to Richie Irvine's idea, I think, from memory, was take all of the, force the, sorry, let me just bump that call, would be to, sign out of there, would be to force the corporates to put their exotic bets back into the pools and
Richie, that was me. I'm taking credit for that.
You're saying, I do remember Richie saying something like that, but he's come up with great ideas. He's a thinker, and then the corporate's getting some sort of action, on that, some sort of rebate on that. So there's lots of things they could do to build the on-course market and reinvigorate the tote and reinvigorate and change the structure of racing. It's all very well to say, oh, that ship sailed. Yes, it has, and it's not going to change much, and 99% chance that this won't happen. But there's still an opportunity there if they really wanted to do it. The point is that we need administrators driving the industry who see this and can visualise this, because the moment we get people on board who recognise that the value in this industry going forward is the punter and not prize money, then the industry has a chance to stop the bleed. We may never get back to what we were, but we have an opportunity to repair some of the damage.
And the person they need to look after is us, not the corporate bookmaker, who is the one currently writing the rules and has everything in their favour. They're allowed to not bet me on quadrellas, but they can bet you because you lose 25% on quadrellas, so you can have them, but he can't have them. The pools are stripped, like you're saying, which is again restricting turnover.
It's total bullshit. In the corporate world, there'd be people going to jail over stuff like this. It is criminal in my mind. It's certainly unethical, some of the behaviours and practices that they adopt, and it can change. Part of Michael's question is this something that could be written into the race fields legislation, i.e., when you're actually able to offer a market and when you can bet and how much you've got to bet? Absolutely. Why couldn't it be written into it? Do you think any of the current racing bodies would even consider this proposal or trial it on out-of-carnival Metro Saturday meetings? No, I don't think they will, not with the current regime. And there is a need to change. Look, what's got to change too is the content, the amount of content that we're betting on. I mean, most of the shit that's served up every day is non-tab meetings dressed up as tab meetings.
Mate, I spoke to an old fellow he's an absolute genius in my mind, who thinks completely out the box, and he calls benchmark 58s and lower, he calls them graveyards, and that's what they are. They're horses that are delaying the graveyard. And that's like 80% of races or something in the country now, and you're spot on. Like, too much content.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have those races so that the battling connections and the trainers and the jockeys can make a living and grind out a basic living. What I'm saying is they shouldn't be tab meetings. There should be less content, more anticipation, and more drive towards promoting what we've got and what we're showcasing. And we've got to stop trying to have the party and start getting people at least educated.
Even if you're not a fan of prize money, which I'm obviously not either, as in the be-all, end-all of racing, because all to me that does is drive up the prices of yearlings, drive up the price of everything in racing, and price most people out, which, again, doesn't make sense. Your number one goal has got to be turnover, because it's the only way you make money. It can't be like selling drinks on track, obviously, but...
Well, they do make money out of that. I'm not saying they don't, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have that.
But that's got nothing to do with the betting product.
It's got nothing to do with
you've got two revenue streams. Why are you not driving this one as high as you possibly can? And that's the only question I want to ask. And as anyone in the industry should be asking that.
Well, the way in which it's done, or the way in which they perceive it should be done, is at odds fundamentally to what everything I know and everything I believe. And if it was you or I running it, we'd be doing it differently. It doesn't mean we'd do it better. We might make mistakes. Maybe we try this and it fails. Maybe it doesn't go anywhere. But the thing is,
this way to me, it seems to be turnover.
It's a slow bleed. I mean, the prize money on races is fucking ridiculous. Black type races have been hurt because of the benchmark and all the bonus schemes. It hasn't been done well. Just because it's the norm and it's the new thing and that's what happens doesn't mean we should continue. All this pissing contest between the different PRAs over prize money and status is not helpful. It might help individual agendas, sure, and it might benefit certain participants, but the participant that matters is the punter. We couldn't give a fuck. And I'm swearing.
And they're diluting their product, like you said.
We couldn't care less whether it was $100,000 race, $50,000. No. If you took every benchmark race on Saturday and took it from 130 or 50 or whatever it is down to 50, you'd still get the same field.
But you put the prize money up. All of a sudden, the 2 and 3 year olds, it's not even the prize money they're worried about. It's their stallion fee because their sales prices are up because the prize money's up. So they're out of the races sooner. They're diluting their own product. The only people, as you said,
the model benefits the breeder.
Yes.
And no doubt. And I don't think that's right. I mean, when I first got into racing, it was quite common for individuals to own horses outright, either in partnership with a mate or a couple of mates. And syndicates were almost unheard of. There was very few of them. Now that doesn't happen anymore. People don't own horses outright anymore. It's not sometimes, but generally speaking, not. It's 20 owners, 40 owners, 50 owners, whatever it might be. And so the whole structure of what's been designed, be careful what you wish for, I suppose, but they've got what they want. And I don't see it doing anyone any good long term. And it's only going to continue. It's only going to.
Everyone's got to make money, but it's very one-sided at the moment. It's very one-sided, and it seems detrimental to racing in the long term.
There are things that can be done, and I think should be done, in order to preserve what's left of what we have as a betting industry.
The question's very good because
there's so many different things. And look, it's obviously emotional, and other people will be totally disagree with what we're saying. That's fine. At the end of the day, I'm concerned because I rely on it to live. So if I can't make enough money betting, then I need to do other things as well. So, and there are plenty of people in that boat.
And if you're as passionate about it as you are, and I am as I am, and you're looking for other avenues, the people coming into the game are not even going to bother looking.
Well, they don't.
And that's my biggest problem.
There's no education. Yeah, and that is a problem. You run a service, right? You're producing content for people and selling that content. But if you can't get customers to engage or new customers to engage, then long term, that's just the bleed, isn't it?
Even the little changes with it. So like we used to send out a lot of early information and you just can't now because it collapses. They won't, if they say that you're one of my clients and I'm one of my clients, for argument's sake, we both back the same horse at the same time, they don't have to bet both of them because they identify them as connected. And these are new rules that they put in to stop them being, having to bet the price that they've got up on the screen. And things like this that they just keep saying yes to them are just like completely diluting the product and stopping turnover. It's just crazy. And it seems they add on and on and on, but they never take back.
Hopefully we'll at least get an increase in minimum bet laws in New South Wales at the end of the season or in the new season. Hopefully that's on the agenda. And
I just hope it's not banned. Like it can't be that hard to get some sort of situation. Like you only need one person in charge of Racing Australia, someone who believes in it a little bit, that the turnover is an issue where it can be driven through a few simple changes, and then it can sort of start to roll. I refuse to believe, because it's so illogical everything they do, that it's impossible to reverse a lot of this stuff very simply.
Well, the PAC is just a fucking joke. I mean, it just does nothing but tax the industry and tax the punter. And, it's just another money grab. And there's only so much that the punter can bear, right? You can't just keep taxing them out of the game. There are lots of things that can be done. There's lots of good ideas out there. I might have some. You might have some. Richie Irvine might have some. Yeah. There's other people that have them. Surely a think tank is warranted. But it's very hard to get traction. I think Richie tried to do this.
Well, I think it only takes one, and I really do think it. Like, there's a few people in charge at the moment, and I don't know whether they're just oblivious or they have no interest in it. And I'm not forever saying that there's any sort of corruption or anything like that, because that's what everyone kind of thinks it's going down that line. I don't. I just think it's been completely overlooked, and it only takes one or two, and everyone's kind of put their hands up and gone. And I know Richie tried his ass off to get a lot more through than what he did, and he got probably the minimum that they were willing to give, which is what we've ended up with. But it's not even about minimum bet laws. It's about sort of wanting the industry to thrive long term and getting everyone in a room who has common interest in the industry and making sure that money's flowing through the whole industry, not just to one or two parts. And it's very lopsided, which is what it seems to be. And I don't believe that can't be reversed. Like, it's just, I can't see it anytime soon.
It can't be brought back to what it was.
No, never.
But it can be improved. Yes. No doubt. And it just takes people with the gumption and the guts to do it. Fuck the politics. Just get the job done and get people in there that are capable of doing the job and not worrying about what other people are thinking, and focus on what's best. And what's best is that the punters are happy. And if the punters are happy, they bet more. Yes. And if they bet more, they'll turn over more and they'll make more money anyway. So, stop taxing punters.
Give them a way to get on that's fair for everyone.
Burden. Yeah.
Yeah, give them
the scalable and fair, depending on how big you are. The corporates are probably very happy with the way things are, and they don't want much to change at all.
Well, it's basically a poker machine. They can't lose.
Yeah. But that's what it's for.
It's all in their favour, and that's silly. It is silly, but give them correct information, a way to get on, as much education as you can, and away we go.
That's what we try to do. We have ranted long enough today, not to
an hour and 26 minutes.
Thunder, but it's been an epic Q&A, and obviously one that's dear to our hearts. And well done, Michael. John, I'll just send you a bill for the extra half the extra 100.
Mate, and, another 200 for Michael. He makes money when he's probably asleep.
What do you mean another 200? No, he hasn't. I don't think he's won it before.
No, he hasn't. But it's another 200 for him on the pile, mate. He's just got a pile that he just keeps putting it on. He's a genius. Anyway, good luck.
Indeed. Thanks, punters. We'll be back on Thursday for a preview of some of the group action on Saturday at Debenham.
I can't wait, mate. Imagine how Jason will be like a caged lion, mate. He'll be that ready to go. It'll be incredible. I can't wait.
He's keen. Thanks, all. See you.
Thanks.